So sometimes I wonder, because I have this straight face and I don't cry often and I don't get angry often, especially in front of people. Um, I'm one of those people that will keep my mouth shut or walk away from a situation before reacting. But I remember way back when I was going to church and I went to a funeral for my nephew, Cadence, and I didn't cry. But it's not because I didn't feel emotion. I think it's because I was filled with the Holy Spirit in a sense. And I knew that Cadence was in a better place. But I think Alan Long thought that I was like some psychopath that had no emotion for anybody else or anybody else's feelings or what they were going through. And that was simply not it. I just, you're not supposed to base your actions and decisions off emotions. That's what the Bible clearly states. And I think a lot of my family members and people, like I even had somebody ask me, it doesn't hurt you to lose people, does it? Well, just because I'm not acting crazy and sporadically and burning down buildings and screaming at the top of my lungs or crying in tears in front of everybody and seeking help for somebody to validate my emotions, it doesn't mean that I don't have them. I've learned to contain them and turn it over to God because that's simply all I can do. I've learned in my younger years that crying doesn't help. Whining about something doesn't help. Sometimes expressing how you feel to somebody, even if it's over and over and over again until you eventually let it go, that helps to a degree. But time does not necessarily heal, but it makes it easier. I've just learned that over time, there's absolutely nothing you can do by crying over spilled milk or somebody dying in your family or losing somebody or there you you have no control as a human being to control other people. And as bad as people want to, you just can't. And I had to learn that over the years. And so what it did was it made me bottle my emotions, I guess. And I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing, but it's not that I have a hardened heart. It's that I think I've went through so many things that have taught me that there's just, you can't base everything off emotion. And if somebody doesn't cry about something, if somebody doesn't, you know, get emotional about something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that they're not thinking about it. But anyway, I'm in Proverbs, and I was in the beginning of the book, and it says how God says not to base anything off emotion. This is Proverbs 19:2. And when I read it, I was a little confused. I'm like, how does that relate to not being emotional, But it says, enthusiasm without knowledge is no good, and being haste makes mistakes. So the way I look at it is being enthusiastic about something that could be possibly detrimental to your life, unless you're knowledgeable about it. That's very true. And people who are risky and, make haste decisions without even thinking about it, that can destroy your life. And people do that because their emotions tell them otherwise. when you run off emotion, it's like, what makes me happy in that moment? What kind of dopamine, serotonin, all of this, what's basically running my thoughts right now? And it's that happiness. It's that happy chemical in your brain that says, yeah. But then you have to stop, you have to slow down, you got to think about what's best for your life. That's what I've been doing lately. I used to be like that when I was younger. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Whatever made me happy, right? I just wanted to be happy. But at what expense? And now I'm having to pick up the pieces and be an adult and responsible and think before I act. Think before I feel. Think before I act on my emotions. And it's probably one of the hardest things that you can do. But to all those people that get confused about, like, if I seem emotionless, that's not it at all. It's the fact that I felt so much emotion throughout my entire younger years, my younger life, that I've learned to address it differently. But that's to Alan Long too. I'm not emotionless, and I'm not a psychopath, and I definitely hurt. But I'd rather hurt in silence and give it to God. And I do pray for others, whether anybody can hear me or not. So I just wanted to put that out there. Y'all make good decisions today. I'm going to go to work.